Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! Taylor gets this one out towards center field to the short porch, and it's a grand slam! It's a floater, out to short. And it's booted off the shortstop's glove! Just like they drew it from Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! Shot to right. Welcome to Woodbury High School, where a fantastic and almost too friendly South Jersey rivalry comes to a head in the Battle of Route 45, here between the Gateway Gators and the Woodbury Thundering Herd, a matchup that's been historically in favor of the Thundering Herd, but with the Herd down to a 1-4 record this season, looking to turn it around in 2025. I'm Dan Wilkins. We've got a good one today here in Woodbury. It's our third straight week covering the Thundering Herd. We saw them with a 42-6 win over Woodstown 2 weeks ago. Then they turned it around versus Glassboro, who's won 18 straight games, and they lost 52-13. So we've seen Woodbury at their best, and we've seen them at their worst. Now we might find them somewhere in the middle. They've got a good game between Gateway, again, a team that they have beaten time and time again in recent years. Now, Gateway did win 7 of the first 8 battles in, again, what was unofficially called the Battle of Route 45, and a battle between Woodbury Heights and Woodbury City. But this is a game that was historically always played on Thanksgiving. It was only 2 years ago that they switched away from that, and we actually covered the last Thanksgiving Day or Thanksgiving Eve battle between these two teams. It was a game that Woodbury won 40-13, and, just looking at the all-time history, Woodbury leads the all-time series record 35-12, and when it's at Woodbury, they lead 16-7. So it's looking pretty good for Woodbury today, but if Woodbury is unable to stop Gateway's rush, this could be a closer game than some would think. They've got Aiden Barbado on the hill, but in the lead for Gateway this afternoon, who's picked up nearly 600 rushing yards in his senior year, while Gateway's had a bit of a quarterback debacle. Gianni Pembroke has been out with a knee injury, so wide receiver DJ Bink has been receiving a lot of snaps under center, but he's only completed 7 of 36 passes this year with 3 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. So Gateway wants to turn those numbers around. Nico Jimenez threw 3 interceptions versus Glassboro last week, so this could be a battle of turnovers. It could be a battle of which team is more disciplined or which team makes the least amount of mistakes. But other than that, Gateway's off to not such a bad start this year. Again, they're hanging in there in the Royal Division. There was a bit of a shakeup in the Royal last night. Sterling lost to Collingswood to beat their unbeaten record. Sterling's now at 5-1 on the season. Meanwhile, Gateway, again, just trying to find their way with fifth-year head coach Andrew Daly. This is his 3rd season at Gateway with a record of 10-15 with the Gators. Of course, the former Eastern quarterback. We interviewed him a long time back. But either way, players and referees are meeting at the 50-yard line. It's going to be a fun one today. It's the Gateway-Woodbury battle. It is a beautiful sunny day here in Woodbury. It's going to be a busy day for everybody. I understand. We've got college football. We've got the Phillies. There's a Temple home game today. There's a Flyers home game today. So if you make time for the Battle of Route 45, I applaud you for that, because it's going to be a fun one. We'll be right back in just a moment with kickoff, the national anthem, and much more here on DWB. The Woodbury sophomore in the national anthem that time. Anthony Reagan in his 8th year at Woodbury. 3 years removed from a state championship in 2022, the first New Jersey state championship. It sounds crazy to say, but of course we all remember that there were only sectional championships before then. Can't believe that it took them that long to get football state championships. But, listen, I don't attempt to be a historian. I came in the New Jersey media scene in 2023, so I guess I am a relative newcomer in that way. But he's got a 51-29 record. He could be on his way, though, to his second losing season in a row. He was 4-6 last year. They made the playoffs and had an upset win over Middlesex, but lost in the end of the day to Shore Regional in the second round. We've got Gateway. We've got Woodbury. This is going to be a fun one. I'm Dan Wilkins. Ryan Sieber joining us on the production today, as it's going to be a battle between two teams. Again, Woodbury has outscored Gateway 75-12 in the last two games in a matchup between these two. Last year it was 2 years ago it was 40-6 the last time they played on Thanksgiving. Meanwhile, last year was 35-6 in favor of Woodbury at Gateway in the first of these games, first of these rivalries being played off of Thanksgiving Day or Thanksgiving Eve, depending on the host. 48 minutes of WJFL football in the battle between the Diamond and Royal divisions. Mark Martin to kick for Woodbury. Gateway back to receive, including number 5, Lamar Smith. Low-hanging kick. It's going to stop, and it's going to stay inbounds. Smith is going to pick this one up. He's going to have trouble picking it up, and he's going to have to dive forward to avoid a turnover, as Lamar Smith waited a long time to pick that one up, and a late flag comes in at the end of the play. Somebody must have said a magic word. So much for a friendly rivalry that we praised about in the open. But we're going to have a late foul after the play. Let's see what the referees have to say here. Unsportsmanlike on Woodbury. So, yeah, I guess so much for that friendly rivalry. But that'll be a 15-yard gain for Gateway. And really just a gut punch for Woodbury, because they would have had a very good start to this first drive in field position for the Gators. They would have trapped Smith and, of course, quarterback DJ Bink inside their own 20. But instead, a 15-yard gain on the unsportsmanlike makes it that they'll start from the 35, which is basically standard practice. Let's take a look at that quarterback profile, though. We won't actually be profiling quarterback. We'll be highlighting the running back, Aiden Barbado. He's rushed for nearly 600 yards this year, including an astounding 259 versus Haddon Township 3 weeks ago. That was his best game of the year, but he's rushed for over 100 yards in all but one of his games this year, as he looks to cap off a very good senior season for the senior back. Handoff to Barbado. He's already going to be in a lot of trouble. And Woodbury able to stop the run on the first play of the game. That's going to be a big loss, at least 5 yards. The spot was at the 34. This will go back all the way to the 26, so a loss of 8 yards on one play. And it's 2nd and 18, Gateway. Just a big blow for the Gators that time. Kind of offsetting there just because Woodbury had the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and then 8 of those 15 yards are given right back to Woodbury on that loss. Bink in the shotgun, whistles, and a false start. So they're going to give back almost all of the 15 yards. This is going to knock them back to 2nd and 23. This is going to be a big opportunity for Woodbury to set the tone again in a game, in a rivalry where they have outscored Gateway 70-12 in the last 2 games between these two teams, 2023 and 2024. Of course, this being the second matchup between these two to not be held during the Thanksgiving week. Of course, for the 8th-year head coach, Anthony Reagan, it's kind of a big statement for these guys after their loss to Glassboro. Bink throws over the middle. That one's caught. Over the middle, they're going to get back a lot of that ground. Pass caught to Jackson Bailey, the junior. And they're going to make this 3rd and about 4 yards at the 40. And a huge turnaround for Gateway, who was on 3rd and 23 after an 8-yard loss and a false start. So they make up most of the ground, and now they're going to be set up for 3rd and 4. It's not an undoable play, but, you know, I guess it just kind of goes to show that even if you start a drive in a poor manner, doesn't mean it has to always be that way. 3rd and 4. Wouldn't be surprised if Barbado gets a rush here up the gut. Bink, keeper, the wide receiver turned quarterback, is going to be short by about a yard. He'll be at the 43. Bink was able to make the carry. So 4th and short here. Gateway does have a kicker listed on their roster in Gavin Trout. I don't know if he'd be the same one for the punting duties, but we're going to line this one up on 4th and 1. It looks like they'll keep Bink and the offense on the field. Line to gain is at the 44 in their own territory here at the Woodbury Bowl. 74 degrees at opening kickoff today. It'll reach a high of 80 on this Saturday afternoon. One of the last beautiful weekends we'll have here in 2025 before it gets cold and bitter. I think Gateway tried to draw Woodbury offside that time, tried to make an easy first or an automatic first. 4th and 1. Woodbury immediately comes in. Hello, Elijah Young comes in for the tackle, and now there's a late flag. Oh, boy. I think Woodbury just got another unsportsmanlike conduct call. Referee's not messing around with the chit-chat after the whistle. The referee's explaining the call. I'm sure Reagan disagrees in some capacity. And if this is an unsportsmanlike conduct call or some kind of personal foul, for what we like to call the magic words, I mean, that's just kind of something where Woodbury has to go to their sideline and say, hey, these refs aren't playing around today. They're not going to let anything go. Personal foul on Woodbury. So it's not an unsportsmanlike, but it is a personal foul. And again, that's just a big gut punch. 4th and 1, they had made the stop, and they would have had the drive in their territory. But instead, it's a 15-yard penalty, and I presume that Gateway is going to have an automatic first down. Although, are they just going to let that stand, and they're going to give Woodbury 15 yards against them? Let's see where Nico Jimenez is. They're back at the... No, Bink is coming back out. So they'll keep the offense on the field. So that is a huge disappointment that time on that drive for Woodbury. Would have had a big 4th down stop, getting Barbado for a tackle for loss. And now your second personal foul of the drive makes this a completely different situation. Although, what do they got here? There's some confusion somewhere. I don't know if Gateway thought. So Nico Jimenez is coming out on the field. That's weird. Jimenez with his first snap on offense. Pass caught on the right side. Another flag coming in. Pass caught to number 10. That's Concepcion on the play. That'll be a first down. We'll see if this comes back for a flag. So Bink apparently lining up on both sides of the ball here as a defensive back. But I understand that if that's how the rule is supposed to be called, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me from a rules perspective how you can commit a personal foul well after the whistle is over after making a big stop on fourth down, and then you still get the ball back. Like, it doesn't really give the weight of the penalty what it should be, because it's almost like Gateway punted away the ball with a 15-yard penalty. This will be coming back, so no first down for Concepcion. And again, I'm not a Dean Blandino type. I'm not going to interpret the rules, and I'm not going to tell you how to enforce the rules. The rules are the rules. That's how they are. I'm just saying I disagree with it because personal fouls and unsportsmanlike calls, especially in high school, they should be enforced more. There's way too much chit-chat that goes on after the whistle to be acceptable in a lot of places. High snap to Jimenez. They hand it off to Dale Thomas, who gets leveled. He stays in bounds. Big hit by Devin Foreman, the senior. And another flag. Oh, my goodness. The referee's not playing around today. They are taking every word with literal interpretation out of somebody's mouth. And I think somebody might be running their mouth a little bit too much. I don't know who it would be. I'm not going to point names because we don't have a mic on the field. But this is going to be, that's at least the third whistle that we've seen well after the play, and it's a personal foul on Gateway. Oh, boy. So remember when I said in the open that this was one of the friendliest rivalries in South Jersey? We now have 3 personal fouls well after the whistle is over, and now it goes against Gateway. I thought that one would be against Woodbury, but again, can never know, without having a microphone on the field. But considering what could be said, or what has been said to draw a flag, I'm kind of glad I don't have microphones on the field. We work with some folks that do that for youth football. They mic up the refs, and even in youth football, you hear some darndest things on that field, whether it's from the players or from the coaches. No filter there. 2nd and 4 after the personal foul. Ball's loose. Thomas is going to fall down. He's got a knee down. He's going to be down short of midfield. He was down by knee that time. Looks like he's going to be behind the 50 again. And as I mentioned in the pregame, I think that this game could come down to a battle of who makes the less amount of mistakes. Woodbury's going to make mistakes. Gateway's going to make mistakes. The big thing is who's going to make less of them. 3rd and 6. We've already seen 3 personal fouls for 15-yard penalties. It was the first one assessed against Gateway. Man in motion. Jimenez drops back, rolling out of the pocket. It's what he does well. It's caught for a first down. Elijah Young makes the play, and he'll get up to the 37. So first down heard. And it feels like every time that there's a play now, I have to scour the field for flags to see if something comes down. Our producer, Ryan, you'll remember last week versus Glassboro, there was a play where there were flags on the play, there were flags after the play, and there were flags after the flags went down. All 6 referees threw the flag out of their pocket. I was surprised the clock operator to my left in the press box didn't throw his flag out of his pocket, didn't just have one appear magically. 1st and 10 from the 35. 2 receivers to the left, hand off to Thomas. Breaking through a couple of tackles, kind of getting pushed back a little bit, and he'll get neutral gain that time, 2nd down. Don't forget, tonight at 8 p.m., we'll be rebroadcasting the recent DAWG Dog Pro Wrestling event from Rowan College at Burlington County. They put on a great 3-hour show on Thursday at RCBC, and we produced it for DAWG's YouTube channel. Now we will be rebroadcasting it on Saturday Saturday today at 8 p.m. on our YouTube page. It'll be a live premiere. You'll be able to watch events, and including the WWGP, the World Women's Grand Prix Championship, with Tiffany Grady, as this one is deep down the sideline, incomplete. Chasing him was Devin Foreman. Pass intended for Concepcion. There's a flag down against Woodbury. Well, as much as I applaud the Woodbury cheerleaders, they just said, Woodbury, keep moving forward. 30, 20, 10. They may be going 10, 20, 30 yards backwards on this drive because they are now backed up to the 40. Looks like they've got the middle school cheerleaders out as well. Much larger group for the herd. If you ever get a chance to go to a Woodbury basketball game, it is loud in there. The stands shake from how much these Woodbury cheerleaders are passionate in their choreography. 2nd and 15. Looked like a 5-yard penalty that time. They're lined up at the 40-yard line, still in Gateway territory, but almost halfway through the first quarter with no score, and Woodbury in their first drive. Now they're lining it up at the 35. So it's 3rd and 10. I think we're all a little confused right now on this Saturday morning as Jimenez drops back. Looks to be in trouble. He lets it fly. That should be intentional grounding. Or at least it should be. There wasn't any receiver near him. He was almost tackled by Kingston Lamano. I mean, I'm sorry. I work for Woodbury. For these football games, that's got to be intentional grounding. They will say that he was down before he let the ball go. So it will be 4th and long from the 43. I guess it wasn't called intentional grounding because they said he was down before he threw it. Mark Martin will be back to punt. Back to receive the punt will be number 3, Naquan Langston. Martin backed up deep on this punt. It's a low one. It's going to bounce twice. He gets the punt off. It's going to be a liner to the 10. One hop taken by Bink, rather, not Langston, and another flag comes in. Oh my goodness. And I thought Glassboro-Woodbury last week was long with all these flags. I give the referees credit, though, for calling the flags where they are. They're not letting any of them slide. Just might make it so that this game runs until 4 o'clock. Got a Woodbury face mask. Now, I would imagine in this situation that they'll just move Gateway up 15 yards. But again, in this first quarter alone, 3 personal fouls, now a face mask. I mean, I hate to say it because they're high school programs and we should be looking in the positive side. Both of these teams look a little undisciplined right now. I mean, that's just how it is. Gateway gets back on offense with DJ Bink. And the Aiden Barbado tandem with Bink. Barbado, a multi-sport athlete for the Gators, as this pass caught. On the flat, ball comes out. But they do say that it is an incomplete pass. It was intended for Jacob Finger. Thomas Lewis ended up breaking up the coverage that time. Sitting on top of the coolers is that rivalry trophy. You can see the records of the games that they've played starting back in 1978. Those are 2 helmets from the first game between Woodbury and Gateway, mounted onto a base. Which, listen, I'm always a sucker for good trophies in any sport. Oh, Bink's in trouble. He tried to pitch it back, and he will be in tons of trouble. He's back to the 23. That's going to be a loss of 7. It looked like he tried to pitch it backwards to number 5, Lamar Smith, the junior, and ends up coming up empty-handed. They will spot this at the 25, so it'll be a loss of 5, 3rd and 15. Again, a lot of teams making mistakes, and I mentioned this could be a battle of which team makes the less amount of mistakes. It's just how it might be. Bink will drop back to pass. He's only completed 7 of 36 this year, and that will be 7 of 37 as it's incomplete. Couldn't find anybody over the middle. Looks like the closest receiver to him was Marius Hunter Trujillo, the senior, and the closest defender was Thomas Lewis. So 4th and 15, Gateway looks like they'll be back to punt.
And it looks like a bevy of cheerleaders down there. I believe the Thunderbird cheer squad is being joined by the Woodbury Steelers cheerleaders today. So let's give it up.
So it's not the Woodbury, I'm sorry, it's not the middle school cheerleading squad, although it might as well be. It's the Woodbury Steelers, which is the TCUFL youth team. Popped up. Ooh, the punter got drilled. And a flag comes in for roughing the punter. Dale Thomas doesn't like the call, but DJ Bink, who really could put any position on the football field here with a quarterback, a wide receiver, a defensive back, and now a punter. And Dale Thomas will get hit for a roughing the punter penalty. Again, that's the right call. You know, as a defensive player, you have to be aware of where the punter is. Just like how as a defensive end, you have to be aware of when the quarterback lets go of the ball to avoid a roughing the passer penalty. You have to be aware of who's the protected player. And it's not like he just bumped him. It's not like he just touched him. Bink didn't flop there. He almost got pile-driven that time. So hopefully these teams play just a little bit better, you know, going forward. Because right now, I mean, these are two solid football programs who are competing for playoff spots in South Jersey Group 1. I want them to succeed. I want everybody to succeed. I don't care if you're 0-8 or if you're 8-0. I want you to succeed. But right now, I feel like that these two teams, they're not exactly playing their best. And I don't know if it's because it's a rivalry. I don't know if Woodbury's not taking Gateway seriously. But right now, this is a game that I predicted could be close just because of how these two teams have come together this season and have played some very different organizations, some very different kinds of football. I mean, Gateway played Clayton last week, lost 38-22. We covered Clayton last night. They lost 38-14 to Overbrook. First and 10, Gateway retaining possession after the punt got moved forward with a flag for the roughing the punter. 2 yards on the play. Looked like, I couldn't tell who got the rush that time. Looked like it was Barbado. Sometimes if you're ever in doubt, maybe Aiden Barbado is the name you'll want to call. Tune in on Monday, October the 6th, for Tri-County League or Tri-County Conference boys soccer at the Patrick Payton Complex in Sewell between the Clayton Clippers and the Gloucester Catholic Rams. 4 o'clock kickoff from Sewell. Gloucester Catholic men and women soccer play their home games at the Patrick Payton Complex right outside of RCSJ in Gloucester County. Pitched back to Barbado on 2nd and 7 from the 43. He's going to get another 2 yards here. But again, this is where you make up for your mistakes from the first quarter. Obviously, neither team had a first quarter to remember so far. There's no points on the board. But as it stands right now, Barbado and Bink, they look like they could be a winning combination, but Woodbury is looking to find a way to stop the run. They've got a lot of big gentlemen on the defensive side. You know, we talk about Caleb Curry. We talk about Julian Dunbar, Isaiah Dunleavy. You know, these older players who are just fantastic defensive linemen. If Barbado can get around him, I mean, Barbado himself, he's 5'7", 145. He's not the most, you know, he's not the tallest player. He's not the, you know, thickest player or whatever, but he's just somebody that's going to get you yards. Bink gives himself up for 1. It'll be 4th and short from the 47. But again, Andrew Daly, he's a coach that, knows how to run several different kinds of offenses depending on what's needed. He was a quarterback at Eastern, played football overseas for several years, including in the Arena League, but he was a quarterback at Towson. He was at Rowan. You just might want to watch episode, I think it's 13 or 14 of the Dan Wilkins Show, where we interviewed him. It was a great show because Bink is going to go back. He's going to fake this. He's going to run into trouble, though. He might not get a first down. He does not. The line of gain was at the 50, and Bink was at least 2 yards short. Gateway tried the fake punt, and it's unsuccessful. So with 3 minutes left in the first quarter, DJ Bink unable to convert, and it's first down Woodbury. I understand why he wanted to do that, but I also don't think that he should have done that. My brain's a little bit split where I understand why he's going for it. I understand why, you see that gap and you think that you can run into it, but Woodbury's very good at closing gaps quickly. They're very good at finding offensive space and kind of almost tricking you into thinking that you have the space, and then everybody comes together and gets themselves out. They've got some fast defensive guys, who don't look like they're speedsters, but they'll definitely give you a run for your money. Nico Jimenez back deep in the shotgun, at least 5 yards back this time. Send Concepcion in motion to the right. High snap. They line a pass. It's caught by Young. He'll get through. He'll get a first down. Got several guys chasing him, and he's gone. Did he step out of bounds? No, he did not. Woodbury touchdown. 45 yards. Elijah Young, first play of the drive, first score of the game. Was trying to get chased out by Foreman and Bailey, but unable. And the Herd lead this one in the Battle of Route 45 by a score of 6-0. Just a very nice play that time by Elijah Young, able to break through, hugging the far sideline, got a pass on the flat. And they'll attempt the PAT with Mark Martin. Jimenez will hold to make this 7-0 here in the battle between Gateway and Woodbury. Woodbury has won, I believe, the last 8 straight. And the kick is blocked. He hit his own man that time straight in the face. And with 2:46 left in quarter number 1, the PAT no good, but a great play by Elijah Young. We'll be right back. Woodbury 6, Gateway 0. We've got Woodbury and Gateway. Here's the play. 45-yard touchdown, Elijah Young. I just love the fact that he gets through here, and look at all those Gateway guys behind him. Gets some good blocks, finds a way to get through, and then he is gone. 45 yards to the house. Extra point was blocked. Martin will kick. Bink and Smith to receive. Here with 2:46 left in quarter number 1. Low-hanging kick, bounces at the 35, bounces twice. It gets past Bink. If this rolls into the end zone, it's a touchback, which it will not. He's in play. He breaks through a couple of tackles. He spins, he fires, and the kicker, Mark Martin, will take him down in a cloud of smoke and a cloud of dust from the dead patch of grass right there, and Bink. And the offense will take over from inside the 20-yard line, almost inside the 15. Gateway needs a successful drive here. Both teams have made crucial mistakes in this game, but the problem is that Gateway's kind of made more mistakes right now. I mean, they tried the fake punt. It didn't work. Obviously, Woodbury's had their personal foul penalties, but now that Woodbury scored, it's like, okay, that's out the window. Last night, it was a big talking point. Overbrook had 6 penalties of 15 yards. Pass interference, a handful of face masks, a personal foul, an illegal block, like a dangerous low block. Like, they got a lot of calls against them. And we've got a flag on the play on the fake handoff. Bink takes it himself. He'll take himself out of bounds. There's 3 flags on the play, all dispensed at different times. So much dirty laundry on the field, we might have to convert the press box into a laundromat. But there's just a lot going on in this first quarter. Let's take a look here. Anthony Reagan looking to get an explanation. Two penalties on Gateway. So it looks like an illegal shift and then holding. So because they're not offsetting, that will combine. We'll have to see what they've got. They're already lined up at the 14. And they're going to knock this back to the 10.
First and 10 Gateway from their own, first and 15 Gateway from their own 10-yard line.
First and 15 from the 10. Bink passes to the flat. Caught by Finger. Fighting to stay on his feet, gets himself up to the 17, so a little bit of better position.
Second down coming for the Gators. From their own 18-yard line.
If you're just joining us, 6-0 Woodbury. Elijah Young had a 45-yard receiving touchdown to open up the scoring for the Thundering Herd in the Battle of Route 45. That's the unofficial name. That's what I like to call it. Fake handoff this time. Bink with a carry. He's going to be at the line of gain. Forward progress should put him right on the edge. And a helmet came off for Woodbury. It was number 11, Thomas Lewis, whose helmet was removed, which means he has to sit for a play. It is barely enough. Gators first down. Again, plays like that are what's going to give Gateway a successful first half. They need to be confident in themselves, and they need to keep the ball clean. They just need to be clean and simple, and they'll be okay. Woodbury has shown that they can stop the rush, but only to a point. And Gateway can try to force themselves in. I would like to see Bink pass it more. It seems like he's an efficient pocket passer, but you can't hit Jacob Finger every time. Defense will double up on that side. They'll lock in and they'll find a way to shut him down. They do hand it off to Barbado, who will dive forward after getting hit a couple of times. Looks like tackle was made by S.J. Varpilla. 2nd and 7 after a gain of 3. They're up to the 28. "12 seconds left in the first quarter. Looks like they'll have time for one more play. Sending a tight end in motion, number 81, Jackson Dolson. The last play of the quarter, Barbado driving forward. They'll get another couple of yards, and that will end the first. Here in Woodbury, they'll get past the 30, but nothing more. At the end of the first, it's Woodbury 6, Gateway 0. We'll be right back. Starting off quarter number 2 here in Woodbury, we'll flip the field, and we've got Gateway's offensive drive with 3rd and 4 from their own 32. Bink fakes the handoff. Martin in tow, and he'll get wrestled to the ground for maybe a short loss. With Woodbury already up a score here in the second quarter. Only had 1 touchdown in the first from Elijah Young. 4th and 4, no gain. Barbados coming off the field. Looks like Gateway's bringing out the punt crew. Although Bink did fake a punt last time. Bink. Oh, that punt is muffed. This is going to keep on rolling, and it will stop at the 37. Picked up by Dolson. Man, that was he tried to punt it through heavy traffic and ended up running right into a brick wall. DJ Bink ends up coming into a lot of trouble there on the punt, and they turn it over to Woodbury at the 37-yard line. Double action for the RCSJ Roadrunners this week. On Tuesday, October the 7th, we've got women's soccer between the Atlantic Cape Buccaneers and the RCSJ Roadrunners, nationally ranked Roadrunners. And then on Wednesday, October the 8th, we've got volleyball in the NJSIAA, where the Roadrunners on an 8-game winning streak face off against another hot team in the NJSIAA, Ocean County and the Vikings. 6 o'clock start time for that match on Wednesday. Jimenez gives himself up. Closest defenders that time were Kingston Lamano and Jacob Finger. Again, with Group 1 football, I say it like a broken record, but players are, mostly expected to play both sides of the ball. People who are used to watching big school football, Kingsways, Clearviews, Washington Township, Vineland, Eastern. Those schools they have a lot of specialists. I like this product of football. It's a lot more, I guess you could say, unvarnished. Dale Thomas is going to hesitate a little bit. Ball comes out. No whistles. Gateway gets the turnover. And a late shove out of bounds by Thomas Lewis. As the fumble recovery by Jacob Finger. It's going to be a huge break for the Gators as they pick up a botched ball recovery by Dale Thomas, and they will return this one up to the 43. The Bison Shuffle. Kind of a reiterated version of what Audubon, my alma mater, did in high school, the Green Wave Rumble. I guess you could say Bison do shuffle around a lot. I guess I don't know if they hibernate. I don't know if Bison hibernate. Might be a question for David Attenborough. 1st and 10. Bink drops back. Lets this one fly. He's got a man down open, way downtown. Martin's going to bring him down, and it's a touchdown. 43 yards. Gateway ties the game. Aiden Barbado. No one even in his area code, and DJ Bink throws his 4th touchdown pass of the year, and this game is tied. Gateway looking for their first game in 3 years to have more than 6 points against Woodbury. The last time they did that was 2021 when they scored 7 points in a 34-7 loss. 2020 was the last time they scored double-digit points. It was 37-10. And then 2019 was the last time Gateway won 34-6. This one looks good. Barbado up, away, and good. Just barely over the crossbars. Aiden Barbado, 43 yards out, finds his way into the end zone for a receiving score. It's 7-6. Gateway's up in the second quarter. We'll be right back. Aiden Barbado went 43 yards to the house to get himself that touchdown to give Gateway a 7-6 lead. Or the kiddos at home, I guess you would say that Woodbury is trailing 6-7, but not going to beat that horse into the ground. 1 point lead for Gateway. Like we said, first time since it's the most amount of offensive points that Gateway's put into this Route 45 rivalry since 2021. They won back-to-back years in 2018 and 2019, winning 41-6 and 34-6 in both years. Bink does not get the kick that time. Leaping, Elijah Young comes in, flag down. That kick was made by number 54, the junior Nick Watts, offensive lineman, getting the kick done as Elijah Young took flight, hurdling over a Gateway player, and we'll see what the penalty's about. Orlando Concepcion trying to get a listen in to what the referee's decision is. And with it being October, a couple pink flags on the field. They'll wave it off. So the flag has been waved off. Is that a pink flag? I can't tell. There's something down there. I thought it was one of the referee's flags. They're not picking it up. I'm not sure. First down, Woodbury from the 39 is a good return by Elijah Young. Still confused by what that is. I don't know if that's like a couple of towels. That might be it. Is that a shoe? I don't know what that is. The grass is a little bit tall here in Woodbury, so it's hard to tell, but they're just leaving it there. They're not going to pick it up. First down from Woodbury's own 39. The things you see here in South Jersey Group 1 football. First and 10. High snap. Look at Nico Jimenez. Deep. Contact. Incomplete. Intended for Thomas Lewis. Broken up by Devin Foreman. Foreman, I think, wants an offensive pass interference call. I think there kind of was a push off there. But we covered Woodbury Gateway 2 years ago in the last game between these two on Thanksgiving Eve. Incompletion makes it 2nd and 10. We'll try to get some out-of-town scores in. Not too many games being played today, this Saturday. See where Kevin Minnick is. Nothing yet from him today. Woodbury calls a timeout. While we're at it, might as well highlight some out-of-town scores from last night. We already went through Thursday's scores yesterday, but it should be fun. I mean, listen, you know, there's always a lot of downtime here in these football games. We talked about starting off with Friday. Our game, Overbrook beat Clayton 38-14. Mainland beat Ocean City 20-7. Riverside went up to 5-1 with a 36-0 win over Bishop Eustis. That was Eustis's first loss of the year. St. Joe's Hamilton beat Buna 34-8. It was announced yesterday that Sal Marchese Jr., the 31-year head coach at Delsey, will be coming out of retirement to coach the Wildcats starting in 2026. Collingswood with a big upset over Sterling in the Royal Division, 31-14. Willingboro beat Timber Creek 53-6. Cherokee beat Shawnee in a huge comeback, 22-21. Cedar Creek beat Oakcrest 35-6 in a battle of Egg Harbor schools. Northern Burlington beat Allentown 43-6. Washington Township obliterated Lenape 48-0. Eastern beat Trenton, the Trenton Tornadoes 35-7. Triton beat Cherry Hill West 28-21 in a back-and-forth effort. Paulsboro went up to 6-0 on the season with a 6-0 shutout of Shalleck. And then Maple Shade beat Palmyra 38-6, as Palmyra is 0-6 on the season. Good year for the Wildcats right now, as that one is caught. Young, line of gain is at the 50. He is ahead. That should be a first down. Tackle made by a combination of Lamano and Smith. First down Herd. But I think Woodbury just got kind of a fire lit up under themselves right now. You know, they gave up 7 points to Gateway. You know, they can look at the history and say, yeah, we beat these guys 75-12 in the last 2 years. As an official timeout is called, there is a Gateway player down. Gateway's athletic trainer coming out, Chris Metzger, coming out to talk to him. He's kneeling, and I believe it's an issue with his hand. That's number 19, Jackson Bailey, the junior. 9:31 left in the second quarter. It's here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. It's the Battle of Route 45. This broadcast is brought to you by Harper Driving School. Over 90% of students who take their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on the first attempt. Book an appointment today at Suite 4 of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, 614 Lambs Road. This broadcast is also brought to you by Gray Fox Sports, premier sports photography right in your backyard. Book Michael Taylor today at grayfoxsports.net or at Gray Fox Sports on Instagram. That was a shot from earlier today. Woodbury, their players taking the field prior to today's game. Hand off to Thomas. Gets wrestled to the ground that time. And he'll be down at the 47. Probably for no gain. Again, the big thing for Woodbury here is that both of these teams really seem susceptible to big plays. Woodbury has had a 48-yard touchdown to Elijah Young. Aiden Barbado at a 43-yard pass, other way around. Elijah Young's pass with 45 yards. Aiden Barbado's pass with 48 yards. Both touchdowns scored today have been on big plays. It's not like they've had to labor into the end zone on a 1-yard goal line stand. They've had a lot of breakaways. And that might be what makes this a back-and-forth game between these two. Jimenez drops back. Line drive pass over the middle, tipped and almost intercepted. Intended for Mark Martin. Broken up by number 14, Marius Hunter Trujillo. And it'll be 3rd and 9. For our football slate next week, we've got one game in the South Jersey Group 1 spectacle. We've got the Cinnaminson Pirates versus the Glassboro Bulldogs on Thursday, October the 9th. And then on Friday, October the 10th, we've got a non-public matchup between the Notre Dame Irish, not those ones, the other ones. That would be funny, though, getting them to come down from South Bend, Indiana. And then Notre Dame versus PVI on Friday the 10th. And then Saturday the 11th, St. Joe's Hamilton versus ACIT over in Brigantine. It'll be the first ever home game for ACIT in their second year as a football program. Their football stadium is still being constructed and will be ready in 2026. However, this will be their first game where they will be listed as a home team playing in Brigantine. So that'll be a fun trip. I've always loved to go down to the shore in the fall because it's not crowded. There's no annoying people. If you're ever in Wildwood and there's those shops with the T-shirts in the window that blast annoying music all day, look who's lined up next to the quarterback. That's number 55, a lineman in Caleb Curry, because they're going to be punting this one away on 4th and 9. Lewis able to avoid getting hit for a roughing the punter, and it will roll out. They'll be at the 30. So I apologize. I messed that one up. I didn't even realize they were punting until I zoomed out the camera. It was a little bit too late. Listen, we're not perfect here. If you ever expect Dan Wilkins Broadcasting to be perfect, I got news for you. Gateway this year, 3-2. They won their first 3 games of the season. They beat Middle Township 29-7, Haddon Township 33-14, and Wildwood 35-7. But they have lost their last 2 versus Sterling 35-14 and versus Clayton 38-22. So high-scoring games all throughout. In all 5 games, the winning team has scored 29 points or more. And then for the rest of their schedule, they face Gloucester Catholic on the 11th, Mastery Camden on the 17th, and then 24th versus Pittman. That Gateway Pittman game is a part of our DWB fan vote game. In fact, I'll be able to tell you right now what games are in our fan vote poll because it's getting closer to it. The voting will start on Saturday, October the 18th, and will run all week. The games available will be Pennsville at Collingswood, Timber Creek at Washington Township, Williamstown at Kingsway, Pleasantville at Gloucester, Clearview at Pennsauken, Triton at Deptford, Sterling at Haddon Township, Wildwood at Buna, and Bridgeton at Cherry Hill East, along with Gateway at Pittman. So that's 10 games total that you can vote on. Last year was only 4, but it will be 10. We'll have a first round of voting, and then the top 8 will advance, and then it'll be a bracket-style tournament to determine who gets the fan vote game. We had over 1,500 votes for last year's game, and Pittman and Gateway won the fan vote. Pittman won that game 44-0 last year. But because these are two schools we cover a lot, got a lot of fans, not fans, I don't want to sound audacious. We have a lot of viewers in Gateway in the Woodbury Heights area and in Pittman. It's 3rd and 3. They're lined up at the 37. And don't forget, we have South Jersey NABA action tomorrow morning between the South Jersey Eagles and the Sicklerville Phillies, starting at 9 a.m. from the Gloucester Township Community Park in Sicklerville. Bink drops back. He will pass. A low-hanging pass, almost spiked it that time. Intended receiver was the tight end, Jackson Dolson. It'll be 4th and 3. Curious if they'll keep the offense on the field in a 1-point game. Gateway will punt. And we got whistles. Gateway calls a timeout, and so will we. 6:47 left in quarter number 2. It is Gateway 7, Woodbury 6, a low-scoring affair here at the Woodbury Bowl. Attempt number 2 of the punt. Gateway called a timeout. Bink with a good boot this time. Almost bobbled. It's caught at the 30 and getting hit. Number 54, Nick Watts, comes down with the tackle. The return was made and stopped at the 40. Returned by Aaron Johnson, the sophomore. And Woodbury will take over with 6:35 left in the first half. By the way, I didn't get to acknowledge it, but on Thursday, we hit 4,000 subscribers on our YouTube page. Just wanted to say thank you, because tomorrow is our 4-year anniversary. We did our first DWB game on October 5th, 2021. It was a soccer game between Gloucester and Audubon. And, yeah, I can't believe that this is what we're doing 4 years later. I mean, this is just incredible. Elijah Young's going to get a first down this time, a gain of 15. But point is, oh, wait, late flag comes in. Yeah, I think this is going to be against Woodbury here. I think somebody said the magic words again. So yet another penalty. Personal foul on Woodbury. It's a big gain for Gateway. I mean, listen, I think some people, you know, in the media or whatever would go into this game and say, oh, Woodbury's going to run away with it. Gateway's making sure that's not the case right now. They are making sure that Woodbury is kept in check and making this game a close one, which is going to be really interesting to see. Again, Saturday, October the 4th here. It's a busy day in the Philly Metro NLDS Game 1. The Phillies and the Dodgers. I can't even watch the game because I'll be at a concert tonight. Oh, I'm missing out. I might just literally have like my phone to my side, like with the scoreboard up the whole time. I'm hoping they win. Red October. Make it happen. Young lining up, trips left for the Herd. After the personal foul, it's 1st and 11. Young makes the play. Because it's a spot foul, they're going to get a first down a second time. Now he's still on his feet. Finally gets brought down to the ground by a combination of Finger and Hunter Trujillo. It'll be a first down for Woodbury. And again, that's another big break for Woodbury. Gateway got a big advantage on the personal foul, but because the foul was after the play, they couldn't really knock them back too far. So it ended up being more of a reset, if anything, and then now Woodbury gets the ball back. And they're in a position here to succeed and try to take the lead before halftime. 1st and 10. Handoff. This could be trouble. Oh, he's going to get yanked at the jersey. He is down. Dale Thomas, and almost coming in for a pile drive was number 59, Kevin Zagone. Rushed by Dale Thomas that time as he got yanked, and that'll be a big stop for Gateway. As that'll now put him at 2nd and 15. Jimenez drops back. Line drive pass over the middle, caught by Young. Breaks a tackle, breaks 2. On his feet at a standoff, at a standstill. And they'll keep him on his feet. He's up at the 30, at the 32. Gain of 13 on the play on 2nd and 15. After the big loss by Thomas. He'll be down at the 32 again. Gain of 15, or gain of 13 rather. It'll be 3rd and short. .435 and counting in the first, and no surprise, our good friend Minnick is at Camden Winslow. That should be a really good game this Saturday at Farnham Park. Pass caught. Thomas Lewis breaks, spinning, and he's going to get up to the 20. He's in the red zone, an easy first down, Woodbury. They're lined up at the 20, so right on the edge of the red zone here as Woodbury looks for their second score of the half. Dale Thomas on the carry, spinning, and tackled by number 9. That is Kingston Lamano, the senior. They were able to get 10 yards that time. Couldn't tell from the angle, but it's now 1st and goal, Woodbury. So they drop the sticks. They're at the 10-yard line, maybe the 9.5. And Woodbury will be on the doorstep of the end zone here. Late in quarter number 2. Jimenez, handoff. A little wrap around that time. Taken down by his feet, and he will stay up. Whistle's blown. Tackle made by Dolson. Looked like number 75, that's number 76, Brenner Tuttle was in on that one. Under 3 minutes left to play in the half. Woodbury definitely not in a sense of urgency here with this being 2nd and goal. They're backed up to the 14. And whistles blow. Andrew Daly burns the timeout. He has one remaining. Woodbury has two. And in the second quarter, just winding down the time, it's 7-6. Gateway up by 1 point. Jimenez lets it fly after the timeout. Incomplete. Hit in the end zone. Broken up by the Gateway defensive back. Is that DJ Bink again? I think it is. Intended for Young, who would have had his second receiving touchdown of the day. It's now 3rd and goal. They're backed up to the 14.
Third down here for the Herd.
2:36 left in the half. Incompletion to Elijah Young. Jimenez again might try for the same spot. He's over the line. Dolson can't get him. Lets it go. Broken up. Gateway gets the break with Hunter Trujillo. Trujillo came in on a beeline and broke up the pass. It's going to be 4th and goal from the 14. I don't know how you're going to approach this. I mean, this will be interesting to see how this will work. Looks like Jimenez is staying on the field. Martin is coming off. Jimenez staying on the field. 4th and goal. Woodbury looking to retake the lead with 2.5 minutes left in the first half. Jimenez deep in the pocket. Breaks forward. Breaks free. Looks like he's got a man, but he's in trouble. Breaks another tackle. Lines a pass. Tipped up. Incomplete. What a stop, Gateway. 3 straight incompletions, and the Gators will take over in their own territory for a 2-minute drill. We have a penalty marker down because what else? How else would that drive come to an end without a penalty flag? Jimenez had his pass broken up twice and now 3 times in a row as Gateway's defensive ends or defensive backs holding it up big time. Saw Hunter Trujillo with a huge breakup that time. Couldn't tell. There was a litany of players on the far side of the field. And if this is Gateway's ball, assuming that the penalty – okay, illegal forward pass. I couldn't tell where he was lined up. But remember, for the illegal forward pass, your entire body has to be in front of the line of scrimmage that time. So he must have just been ahead. It will be Gateway ball with 2:15 left in the half from their own 14-yard line. It's not undoable. Or I should say it's not impossible, but this is going to be a tough drive for Gateway. They have been struggling to get momentum, and you could argue that both teams have been struggling to get momentum here. There's only been 1 touchdown on either side in this half, and it'll be interesting to see how this microcosm of a game ends up working out for the final 2 minutes of the half, and if any momentum that either team may or may not have, carries over into the third quarter. 1st and 10. 14-yard line. Bink, handoff, Barbado. No luck there. Tackle made by Dunleavy. Excuse me, Caleb Curry got the tackle. I think Dunleavy was in the mix as well. If you remember, Woodbury will receive the ball to start the second half, so it's not a massive loss, but for a game that Woodbury has dominated in the last 2 years, Woodbury has outscored Gateway 75-12 in the last 2 matchups between these two teams, 40-6 in 2023, 35-6 in 2024. Right now, this game is looking like a complete 180 compared to the last 2 years' matchups. Whistles, timeout, Gateway. They burn their last of the half. They've got 1:22 left. We'll be right back after this. Closing in prior to the end of the half, it is Woodbury 6, Gateway 7. They lead by 1 point. They send Hunter Trujillo in motion. And a handoff. Over to the left side for Barbado. Spinning. Helmet comes off for Barbado. A little bit of a shove after the play as Dale Thomas wants a piece, and Aiden Barbado, unfortunately, will now have to sit out a play because his helmet came off. It's automatic. It doesn't matter the circumstances of it. As soon as your helmet comes off, you have to sit down a play, and that's going to be a big blow for Gateway because that probably changes their perspective of the drive. You've got a minute left, and it's a 1-point game. You're deep in your own territory at the 15, and now Woodbury calls a timeout. We'll stay here. 1 minute, 14 seconds, 1 timeout left for the Herd. The schedule for this week on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. On Monday, October the 6th, we've got men's soccer, or boys soccer, between the Clayton Clippers and the Gloucester Catholic Rams at 4 o'clock from the Patrick Payton Complex in Sewell. Tuesday, we've got JUCO women's soccer, Atlantic Cape versus RCSJ. And then on Wednesday, it's more NJSIAA JUCO volleyball between Ocean County and RCSJ. Our football slate for this weekend, Cinnamon's in Glassboro on Thursday the 9th, Notre Dame PVI on Friday the 10th, and then St. Joe's Hamilton ACIT on Saturday the 11th. We're starting to book basketball games already. It's hard to believe. So again, just about 75 seconds left in the half. Woodbury comes out of their timeout. Gateway comes out of the huddle with the third-year head coach, Andrew Daly. We were there for Daly's first win as a head coach versus Haddon Township in a game that ended 19-0 Gateway. I almost wanted Gateway to not score in the fourth quarter of that game because it would have meant we ended with a 5-0 final. We had a safety and a field goal. Bink. Uh-oh. Look out. Got a lot of whistles there. Woodbury calls their last timeout as couldn't tell who got the carry. It looked like it might have been Langston. Timeout called by Woodbury. Again, that's their last, but there was a tipping point. Looked like somebody was very close to picking a personal foul. While we have the timeout, let's run over some more out-of-town scores from last night. We said the last one, Maple Shade beat Palmyra 38-6. Let's see what else we got. Notre Dame shut out Highland 21-0. And we'll We'll see here. Kingsway shut out Hamilton 33-0. What a battle in Burlington City last night. It was Burlington Township who stayed undefeated in a battle of two 5-0 teams. They beat Burlington City 8-0. Cinnaminson shut out Florence on the road 20-0. Florence now falls to 0-6. Delran shut out Heightstown on the road to improve to 5-1, 45-0. And then Cherry Hill East putting up another fantastic performance. They're 6-0. They beat Clearview 48-0. Glassboro beat Deptford 56-0. Lower Cape May beat Egg Harbor Township 34-6. Williamstown, what an upset for Williamstown. They beat RV 21-18. Huge upset that time. Pennsville shut out Penns Grove 41-0 to win the Battle of the Boot, second year in a row. And then I don't see anything else in South Jersey. Oh, Haddonfield over West Deptford 29-14. The punt will roll to the 40. Woodbury ball, 55 seconds left. All right, closing out the out-of-town scores. Bridgeton beat Cumberland 21-7 last night. Our game that we mentioned, Overbrook beat Clayton 38-14. Princeton beat Holy Cross Prep 19-14. Let's see here. What else do we got? Just scrolling through NJ.com. Last one, Hopewell Valley beat Seneca 21-14. I think that one was the last one on the schedule because it was slated for a 7:30 kickoff, which feels a little late. Woodbury will have the ball on their home 40 with 55 seconds left in the half. Gateway's band playing on from across the way. Can hear them from up here. Jimenez, right side, lets it fly. It's picked off. One play, one interception. Number 7, Zach Wilson comes in. And the senior defensive back picks up a huge pick to put Gateway right back where they started, an even better field position here. And Jimenez throws his first interception of the night. .9 seconds left. Don't forget to stay around for the DWB halftime program, the Archives Show, where we show you the best of the best from the 4 years of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, including game-winning hits, game-winning shots, and everything in between on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting from every sport that we have covered. Here's Bink. Line drive pass. Caught. No, incomplete. Finger could not get his fingers on that one, and an incomplete pass over to the right side. And it'll be 2nd and 10. But the big thing for Woodbury, that does take 9 seconds off the board, which is going to be constraining Gateway's efforts even further here because they need to get this drive down. They're already up by 1 point. Might as well extend the lead, but they've only got 40 seconds now instead of 50 and 71 yards to go. Again, I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Ryan Sieber and Chase Barnes today. You're watching coverage of South Jersey Group 1 football on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. If you'd like to make a contribution to Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, send us a Venmo shot at DW Broadcasting. No spaces, no hyphens. Always appreciated. And, of course, we have our email at The Dan Wilkins Show for any comments about today's broadcast, any questions. And also, if you're an advertiser, if you're a small business owner interested in advertising with Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, send us an email at thedanwilkinsshow@gmail.com. We'll send you an inquiry with more information on how to get involved in DWB. Servicing all of South Jersey since 2021 and over 125,000 annual viewers along with nearly 10,000 social media followers across YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. If you'd like to become an advertiser for DWB, we've got affordable rates for commercials for whatever your business may need. And as the time winds down, they choose to end the first half on their own terms with Gateway, the improbable favorite. Well, they weren't a favorite in this one going in, but into the second half, Woodbury's on the ropes. It's the Gators 7 and the Herd 6. A low-scoring first half. We'll be back in 15 minutes.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It is the responsibility of all of us to make sure that our friends, family, and anybody who we hold dear in our lives is feeling well.
The problem with spotting mental health issues is that the symptoms aren't that obvious. Just because someone is okay or appears okay on the outside doesn't mean that they're okay on the inside.
It's important that if they are in distress, that they call the right people and they get the help that they need.
And it is very important that we treat each other with respect, regardless of who you are or where you come from. But it is just as important that we treat ourselves with respect, regardless of the situation going on in our lives.
If you're in distress, you can call this number, 988, or you can visit any of these websites if you're not in distress, but would like to learn more information about mental health awareness and research.
Book Dog Pro Wrestling for your next event or outing for the greatest action that New Jersey Pro Wrestling has to offer. Any place, any time, any setting, Dog Pro Wrestling will bring the action to you, and you won't want to miss it for moments like this. But don't just take it from me. Take it from Max Mundo, the Dog Pro Wrestling ambassador.
This is Max Mundo with Dog Pro Wrestling. Are you a civic organization, sporting club looking to fundraise? Then look no further to Dog Pro Wrestling. We do grand openings, corporate events, and much more.
And why not from some of the wrestling talent themselves?
I'm Vinny the Fixer, and I'm the champion of Dog Professional Wrestling. If you want to book the best, come see us. We're the cream of the crop. We'll come to any fundraiser you can think of. Just name the place and we'll show up.
This is the upstanding Dylan Mesh, and for the entirety of my professional wrestling career, dog wrestling has been a mainstay for where I like to wrestle. So you can believe me when I say that it is quality. And I'm upstanding. I'm the only opinion you need.
Yeah! It's your boy Gabriel Hodder here with my man Matthew Oman, and if you want your events to be all fight, no flight,
then book Dog Wrestling so you can witness true primal fear. Woo!
In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Jack Mastero, 2 for 3 with a strikeout, a double, and a single. Looking to play hero. He's going to line this one into right center field, and that's going to drop. That's going to do it if they don't get a throw down. Mastero's going to second, and Danza's coming home. Sectional champions, Gloucester Catholic. They do it in a walk-off fashion as GC with Mastero playing hero. An unbelievable.
So after the holding call to be 1st and 20, as now rolling out to the right side, he's got a little bit of room to run. On a QB rush, he's going to get a first down. There's no flags, and how about this for 61 yards? Anthony Gaetano with a QB rush that works to perfection. He hugs the sideline, and Anthony Gaetano gets the scoring started for the Redhawks at 7-6.
And Argabright with a full count. Outfielders in communication for the Quakers. Everyone's looking around. in a tie game, bottom of the 6th. The 3-2 payoff. Ground ball. It's going to get over the head of Tolbert into left field. That's a base hit. 2-run score. Argabright delivers when asked. 5-3. Alex Argabright has given the Golden Eagles a 5-3 lead in the bottom of the 6th inning. Uplight, he's, again, one time leaving the bases loaded is frustrating enough. Doing it twice in a row. Oh, how about this? Line drive. He's throwing it around the infield. They're going to throw him out at first. He's out. I have never seen that before. That is a 5-4-3 ground out because the third baseman thought he caught it. The home plate umpire said no, so he threw it around the infield and then got the out at first anyway because the batter thought he was out.
The batter stopped. The third baseman thought
Everybody
he caught
stopped.
it, and it touched.
Ogley to end the day for Luke Pokrovsky. Little pop-up, first base side, he calls for it, and for the first time in 33 years, the Charlotte Cougars will hoist the trophy and face Middlesex on Monday. 4-3, Cougars win it. And in the battle of green and gold, the trophy stays true with the visitors. What a finish! And Shalleck will pack their bags for Middlesex and the Blue Jays when the weekend turns around to Monday. And it gets past everybody. Graham will go back to position with no goal scored. They'll count down the time out loud here. Out to the left. One final shot, and it gets through. How about a buzzer beater? How do you do? It's a lead extending goal for Justin Lewis. Jersey is the number 2 seed. As we said, they beat Manville 19-0 in the first round, which was even larger than Audubon's 16-0 win over Paulsboro as the 1 seed in the first round. That one's hit out towards center field, straight away. Oh, she misjudged it. Got over her head in center field. Now this one's got a chance to be 3 bases for Spire. She's flying around third. Here comes the throw to the plate. It is not in time. What a way to kick off a semifinal with an inside the park home run. Emma Spire, who will take her talents to the Great Danes after 2026, lights up the scoreboard with a fly ball that got misjudged in center field. Jersey is the number 2 seed. Literally, they've been here twice, and they're about to score, or on the doorstep of scoring 50 for the second game in a row. Xavier Terry Brown. He is still on his feet. He's being shoved forward into the end zone. But who's got the ball? Look at Jason Solomon. The ball magically appeared in Woodbury's hands, and now they're back at the 50. This one's going back. This one's going to go to the distance. I don't see any flags. Did that just go for 100 yards? I think it did. I do not see any flags as Woodbury. Oh my goodness, Jason Solomon, have a day. He is the first man not named Taylor to score. Wow, that was good. Literally, they've been 2 minutes remaining. 4 fouls on St. Joe's. 1 more and it's a bonus, which would greatly help Gloucester Catholic. The moving green guard! It's a 1-point game just like that! This place is going nuts! And now a drive to the basket by Spross. He lays it up and lays it in! St. Joe's has 2 timeouts remaining. Gloucester Catholic still has 3. Here we go. Mastero pulls up. He goes for 3! 6 points! Jack Mastero has tied the game with 90 seconds remaining. How will the Wildcats respond?
with a miss of
Ryan Nutley, who has 3 RBIs so far, is up on deck as here's a fly ball at the center field, going back to the wall. It is gone! 3-run home run, Steve Schaefer. He rockets one out, and it's 9-2. First home run for Schaefer this year, the second hit at home by a Scarlet Raptor.
Doubleheader reached first on an error in the first at-bat of Game 2. This one's lined into center field. Slider going over. He dives. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Ryan Slider makes the catch. Not on a slide, but instead on a dive. 2 away.
A low-scoring first half here at Woodbury. At the Woodbury Bowl, it's 7-6. Gateway up by 1 point. Didn't think we'd see this coming, but Woodbury is down at the half. They still have not come out of the locker room yet, and looks like now they're finally – nope, they haven't come down the stairs yet. But we may have an extended halftime break. Either way, though, this is not a great first half for either side. I'm just going to come out and say it. It's been a mistake-ridden first half. There's been a lot of personal fouls. Woodbury's had a lot of plays that they regret. Gateway's had a lot of plays that they regret. Both teams have had an interception. At this point in the game, you know, there's just now that these mistakes have happened, they got to stop, because Woodbury at this time is looking for, I believe, their 6th straight win, dating back to 2019 was the last time the Gateway won the Battle of Route 45. So right now, Gateway's definitely feeling pretty good about themselves, but they also can't be feeling too good about themselves because they've also been making a lot of mistakes. DJ Bink has surprised me as a quarterback. He's been a very efficient pocket passer today. You know, just looking at his passing completions, he only made 7 out of 36 passes going into today, and that's not a great number. That's not a great rate. He's given up 6 interceptions as well. But today, he seems like he's a lot more comfortable in the pocket, and maybe having that lead in the second quarter gave him that confidence that he otherwise wouldn't have had. But Woodbury has been inconsistent at stopping the rush, which has allowed Gateway to leave the door open for getting this game back to their lead. I don't know whether or not they'll hang on to it. I can't really say for sure, because my world kind of got rocked by the fact that this game only had 13 points in the first half. But at this time, Gateway and Woodbury, they got a lot to be excited about. Woodbury's going to try to get their second win of the year and their second at home after beating Woodstown 42-6. Meanwhile, Gateway is going to try to get back on their winning ways. They started off the year 3-0, but then had back-to-back losses versus a then unbeaten Sterling and Clayton, which was on a 4-game winning streak at the time. We're still waiting for Woodbury to come out of the tunnel. There's cheerleaders coming out of the tunnel. There's referees coming out of the tunnel, but no Woodbury players yet, led by 8th-year head coach Anthony Reagan. We'll take a quick break. We don't have too much to report on, but we may have an extended halftime break with Woodbury taking a little bit of extra time in the locker room. We'll be right back in just a moment. A little bit of confusion on the halftime break. Woodbury took a while to get out of the tunnel, and then meanwhile, Gateway lined up for their kickoff, and then Woodbury started stretching on the sideline. So now it looks like we're good. Woodbury will receive the opening kickoff of the second half. It'll be taken by number 54, Nick Watts, and returning looks like it will be Dale Thomas, the nearest receiver, and then looks like Aaron Johnson will be in on that as well. Gateway up by 1 point. It's a close one, and we've got whistles prior to the kickoff. Anthony Reagan complaining to the side judge. Now the referees are coming together. Well, if you were expecting a swift football game today, you're watching Group 1 football. There is no such thing. Not sure what the issue is. A little jazz solo from the Gateway Band in the background. Somebody's pounding on a drum. He's beating that drum into the ground. There's going to be a hole in the drum by the fourth quarter. Now they're pulling Woodbury off the field. And they're going to go into their warm-up lines. So Woodbury went into their warm-up lines when they came out of the locker room, and then the referee said, no, we're going to go to kickoff because you took too long. But then Woodbury, I guess, pleaded their case, or the referees discussed and said, no, we have to have these players warm up. And if you're Woodbury, I kind of understand it. I mean, even though you took too long in the tunnel, you still have the right to warm up before the kickoff. And now I'm sure Andrew Daly's not thrilled. I mean, he's talking with the head ref. I'm sure he's not thrilled that, I can't read the words out of his mouth, but I imagine he's saying something along the lines of, hey, my guys were out here 5 minutes before anybody else, and we were ready to go. So if they're not ready, so be it. But they will grant Woodbury the time to warm up, just like they always do at the half. But, again, it was just a delay coming out of it. Now we have, I guess, our first ever stretching delay. I'm not sure, but 7-6 Gateway. I don't know what's going on, man. They're giving them more time. Because what you always see is they give 15 minutes for the half, and then they give 3 minutes additionally at the end once the teams come out of the tunnel for the warm-ups. I don't know how much more of this they're going to do. I'm sure Gateway's not thrilled about it. Looks like that Gateway drummer stopped trying to disintegrate his drum. The gentleman over there with the long red hair in Gateway's band. Opening kickoff of the second half. It's a short one and kneeled for, late hit that time, late shove. Woodbury wants the flag. The lack of return was made by Emmanuel Dunleavy, the freshman. And the late hit by number 21, which is not on our roster. First and 10, Woodbury. I don't know if we brought up the Nico Jimenez quarterback profile at any point today because we had such an unusual start to the game. Let's take a look, Nico Jimenez, highlight him a little bit. Last week versus Glassboro had 2 interceptions, 116 passing yards, but threw for 50%, 11 for 22, and now a late flag comes in from the sideline. There's something about this game. It's just so weird. Are they calling a delay of game, or what's the deal here? Because this is just odd. Sideline warning. So remember, the first sideline infraction is a warning. The second is a 5-yard penalty. The third and any subsequent are 15-yard penalties. 1st and 10, Woodbury from the 40. Pass caught by Young. He'll immediately get wrapped up. Big tackle that time from the Gateway defense trying to make the stop. Number 59, Kevin Zagone, the junior, comes in that time, and it's going to be a loss of 2 yards. They're going to get back to the 38. Feel bad for anybody that's got to work with Philadelphia traffic today. The Flyers just started their last preseason game of the year, which isn't much, but you've got a Temple home game at Lincoln Financial Field, which is conference play in the AAC. You've got Phillies NLDS Game 1, and I'm pretty sure the Union are home today too, versus NYCFC. And then I got to go to a concert at the Mann Center in Philadelphia. I might not get home until 2 o'clock in the morning. 3rd and 11. Just getting started in the second half in what is a low-scoring affair so far. Jimenez drops back. Pump fakes, work through the line. Gonna get wrapped up. Still breaks through 2 tackles, and he will get taken down prior to the line of scrimmage. Another helmet comes off, but the tackle made by number 33. Again, not on our roster, unfortunately. But unless that was number 34, Patrick Dolbo, the sophomore. That also could have been number 23, Mark Garcia-Keenan. Woodbury 3 and out on their first drive of the half. They will punt. And a late substitution. They're bringing in Lamar Smith in substitute for Kobe Pyle, number 45. Gateway looking for a good return here with Bink. On 4th and 13. Ball is muffed by Lewis. This is going to be trouble. He's going to try to get out of it. On the left side, hands to the face for about 5 seconds in a row, and it's finally called. Gets sent out of bounds. His hand was almost glued to his face that time. That'll be a penalty flag against Woodbury. As the punt was muffed, they tried to fake it out. By the way, Penn Saucon leads Camden Eastside 14-0 with 4 minutes left in the first half. See where they spot this one for the hands to the face penalty. So after all of that, Gateway ball, and it'll be a big penalty for Woodbury that puts them at Gateway's 30, or excuse me, in Woodbury territory for Gateway at the 30. Big chance for the Gators to extend their lead. Bink left side, gets a yard, stays in bounds. 2nd and 9. Second and 9, they're at the 29-yard line for Gateway. Barbado Gets about 4 yards. He is up to the 25. Third down and mid-range for the Gators. If you're just joining us, it's a close one so far. Single digits for both sides and only 1 point separating the Gators and the Herd. Bink, handoff. Barbado gives himself up. I don't know if he tripped or if he did that intentionally. I'd imagine the former. And it'll be fourth down and about 4 yards. Line to gain is at the, looks like around the 20, and they're at the 25. So it'll actually be 4th and 5. Here on Saturday, October the 4th, here at the Woodbury Bowl. 4th and mid-range. They do respot this at the 24 for the Gators. Looking for a big one. Almost got the snap. Here comes a left-handed flea flicker. Deep, caught, touchdown Gateway. What a play. Lamar Smith with the touchdown pass to Jacob Finger for 24 yards. And Gateway has re-extended their lead to 7 points. It's 13-6. Wow. Lamar Smith with a flea flicker that almost didn't work. Bink had to rearrange the snap. And Gateway, how do you do with a trick play to put them up 7 here in the Battle of Route 45? How about that? 2-point attempt to be made here with Bink and then Smith to his right, along with Barbado, two backs, and waltzing into the end zone for an 8-point play. Aiden Barbado gets for 2. Lamar Smith to Jacob Finger for the other 6. It's 15-6. Gateway leads here in quarter number 3. I want to look at this play just because look at Lamar Smith. What a pass. That was a high arcing pass. I'll look at it one more time here. Pitched it back, and then look at all the room he has, and then he just launches it in the air. Lamar Smith to Jacob Finger, flea flicker touchdown, and the Gators lead this one by 9. It's a 2-score game, 15-6. They got the 2-point play, but it goes out of bounds for an illegal kick. Mark Martin was the closest one to it. And Woodbury will have good field position here. By the way, 15 points for Gateway here in the Battle of Route 45. It is the highest that they have scored since 2019, the last time the Gateway won the Battle of Route 45 in a 34-6 win. So they only need 19 more points for that. It's definitely a doable combination. But Gateway Regional is the newer of the 2 high schools. Big thanks, by the way, to Mike DeChico for making the game notes for Gateway every week. I mean, he does a fantastic job. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he sleeps at night. I don't know how he functions. I don't know if it's through butterflies and energy drinks, but he's a workhorse. The series began in 1978, the Battle of Route 45. And it coincided with Gateway joining the Colonial Conference. Gateway formerly was a member of the Olympic Conference from the school's opening in 1964 to 1978. Kind of baffles me, Gateway being an Olympic Conference member, but there have been so many unusual members of the Olympic over the years. So that's out to the right side. That'll be a first down on the carry by Dale Thomas, who had 3 touchdowns 2 weeks ago versus Woodstown. But yeah, point being that Gateway opened in 1964, and students from the 4 sending districts prior went to Woodbury High School. And they actually, Woodbury and Gateway, co-op for several varsity sports, including boys and girls cross country, swimming, and wrestling. And even in the game notes, it says one of the friendliest rivalries in South Jersey. I would say Pittman-Clayton is a pretty friendly rivalry as well. Or like Pittman and Glassboro. It's a rivalry just because of proximity, not because of, hostility. Got about 2 yards that time on the carry by Thomas. Got it up with the line to gain at the 36. But the one thing that one thing that Gateway leads in this category is that'll be a big diving first down for Aaron Johnson. But the big thing for Gateway is that they lead this series between Gateway and Woodbury 4-2 in games decided by 7 points or less. 4-2. Now, the last time there was a one-score game in this rivalry was 2022 when Woodbury was preparing for the state championship, the first New Jersey state championship, and did not dress 10 players. So Woodbury still won that game 6-0. Some shifting on the defensive line. The last time that Gateway won a one-score game was 2006 when they won 12-8, and then did it again in 2002, 28-20. And then in 1984, 15-7. But Gateway won the first 7 of the first 8 contests from 1978 to 1985, and then didn't win again until 1992, and then didn't win again until 10 years later in 2002. But this Gateway-Woodbury rivalry, the biggest win the Gateway has had in 2018 was held here at the Woodbury Bowl. The biggest loss that Gateway had the biggest win that Woodbury had was also at the Woodbury Bowl in 2012. 58-0 was the final. Trying to figure out what's being settled here on the line. There's an issue with the chains, it looks like. I think they were having trouble with the chains there. Now they're good. First and 10, Woodbury looking to get back into this game down by 9. Left side. Jimenez spinning. It was Thomas that had the carry, but Jimenez, as the quarterback, was a lead blocker. It's a gain of, it looks like, 12. They'll be at the 24. First down, Woodbury. Handoff, Thomas gets it to the 20, gain of 4. Second down with 6 minutes left in the third. Big thing for Gateway here is they cannot let up on defense. I mean, Woodbury, I think going into this game, many of them considered them to be the favorite. So if you're going to play against the wind, if you're going to be the one to make people's heads turn, if you're going to be the one to be an upset carrier, you need to have that confidence on defense because you're up right now by 9 points. But Woodbury's a high-scoring offense. I mean, they gave Glassboro their first double-digit points allowed in a year. So listen, Woodbury will score versus anybody and everybody. They've got a diverse offense, and they're not afraid to use their many weapons. Here's Jimenez. It's Dale Thomas to the end zone. As we speak, touchdown Herd. And they thunder their way to the end zone to make this a double-digit point game for both sides. It'll now be 15-12. As this game getting closer and closer, could be as little as a 1-point game after this 2-point conversion if successful. There is a Gateway player down. But that rush for 21 yards by Dale Thomas, who picks up yet another rushing touchdown, makes this a 3-point game. They attend to the Gateway linemen on the far side of the field, and it looks like Woodbury will try to get Mark Martin out there to make this a 2-point game at 15-13. Andrew Daly is out, and we'll be back in just a moment with Woodbury back on the board. Kevin Zagoni was the player injured for Gateway. He was helped off the field, but was able to leave the field under his own power with the assistance of Anthony Tardasima. And that will be a 3-point game, and it'll be 15-12. Woodbury in front. I believe that Martin will try a single-point conversion here, PAT. If they go for 2, I'll be surprised. But, I mean, Jimenez is on the field. Thomas is on the field, and Martin's going to line up as a wide receiver. So they will try to make this a 1-point game, 15-14. Should be interesting. Two wide receivers to the left here. Martin, or check that, Lewis and Young. Direct snap to Dale Thomas for 2. He's at the goal line. This is going to be close. It is good. And it's a 1-point game. Gateway gives up an 8-point play on a 21-yard rush to Dale Thomas, and Thomas himself makes it 8 points, all for himself, as it's a 14-15 game. Woodbury in front by 1 point, and with 5:30 left in quarter number 3, we'll stay right here on the air here on DWB for South Jersey Group 1 football. It's been a good one so far. Again, I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Ryan Sieber on the production this afternoon. As this broadcast is brought to you by Rowan College at South Jersey at Gloucester campus. Become a Roadrunner today by visiting rcroadrunners.com for athletic scouting or recruitment. Meanwhile, visit rcsj.edu to become a Roadrunner for the next fall session. Accelerated classes start next week, October the 6th, for online courses. 1-point game, again, tonight at 8 o'clock. You may be preoccupied with the Phillies, but watch our rebroadcast of DAWG Dog Pro Wrestling from Rowan College of Burlington County. And then Monday, the 6th, we've got boys soccer, Clayton at Gloucester Catholic. Gateway plays Gloucester Catholic next week at J.A. Lynch Field. Remember, Gloucester Catholic plays all of their home games at Gloucester City. So 1 point game. Woodbury will kick. Mark Martin to send this one away. And here we go. That's a big kick. This is going to go almost over the head of Finger, who will return it inside his own 10. He's going to bring it out, and he's on his feet. He will get downed at the 30, but a good return, a good save by Jacob Finger after a booming kick by Mark Martin. And Gateway up by 1 point, still trying to hang on in this one. It's going to be close. It's been a long third quarter already. We still got 5 minutes and 22 seconds left. I just remember last week versus Glassboro. If you don't remember, it was the longest game in Dan Wilkins Broadcasting football history. The total time, 3 hours and 18 minutes. Most NFL games aren't that long. But we had several injury breaks. We had a lot of bickering. We had a lot of chatting. Not the chatting of the would you like to sit down and have an espresso kind. More of the chatting of the I don't like you kind. Barbado wrapped up on the defense, and he's brought down. I don't think that there's a lot of football players who would talk to another team and ask about their weekend plans. So, usually if there's a flag after the play, imagine an offensive line. Although the NFL, they have the mic'd up linemen, and sometimes they're very friendly, but the NFL is very different. The NFL is very different in the fact that they are professionals. Even the most heated of rivalries in the NFL is not as much as like a college football rivalry, like Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama and Georgia, or Alabama and about 5 other teams, Texas and Texas A&M, or Texas and Oklahoma, the Red River rivalry. Like there are college football rivalries where teams legitimately despise each other. Bink hit as he throws. He falls. It's incomplete. Gateway wanted a roughing the passer call, but he was hit a little bit too early. More of a hit as he threw kind of deal. And it'll be 3rd and 10 after a rush for no gain and now an incompletion by Bink. Looked like the intended receiver was Hunter Trujillo. Third and 10, Bink dumps off a pass. It's tipped and almost picked off. So close. Would have been intercepted by number 7, Kyrie Brown, the senior. And instead, back-to-back incompletions as that one failed to get over the offensive line, makes it 4th and 10. Punted by Bink. Got some good height on it. It lands at midfield and some good spin on it. Tailing away from it, and it will roll out of bounds at the 33, chased by number 10, Mike Graham. 4:10 left in quarter number 3. Don't really have too much to talk about. I mean, it's a close game, but just it doesn't feel like there's energy. That's the problem, is that it's a 1-point game, and it feels like it's just dragging along because it's taking so long. There's incompletions, there's flags, there's delays. The halftime break couldn't have been any longer. It took all of the emotion out of this game. And even though it's a 1-point game, somebody's got to get something going to get this energy back up, or else this is going to be a stagnant quarter and a half to close things out here in Woodbury. Jimenez deep. He's got a man downfield. Oh, too much mustard on it. Orlando Concepcion unable to come down with it. Barbado chases him out. And an incompletion for Woodbury. That was close to turning this game on its head and giving the Herd the lead. But instead it's 2nd and 10. Hold on here. Flags.
Some whistles to see what happened there. False start against Woodbury.
False start on the herd. Jimenez line drive. It's picked off. Far sideline. Interception. Jimenez is second of the game. Devin Foreman. He may not be George Foreman, but he just grilled the offense with his second interception. And Gateway will take over with 4 minutes left in the third quarter and a 1-point lead to hang on. How about them Gators? Coming back into it and making this a very difficult day for Woodbury in a game where, again, they seemed like they were heavily favored. But you just look at the records on paper. Gateway is 3-2. Woodbury is 1-4. It's fun stuff. Line drive. That pass is incomplete, but a late flag comes in. Cam Scott had the defensive coverage. Pass was intended for Finger. They'll move the sticks here. So a hold on Woodbury, a defensive hold, sets up first down for the Gators at the 28. Rushed by Bink.
Second down for Gateway, ball squarely on the Birds, 25-yard line.
Second and 7. Here comes the rush. Here comes the near side. It's a rush by Smith, but a flag is down. Offensive hold. Man, the flags are not messing around today. Seen a lot of them. Saw a lot of personal fouls in the first quarter. Now a lot of it's just silly stuff. False starts, holds. Not even stuff that can really be argued. It's just... it's sloppy. I mean, I hate to say it because, like I said, I work for Woodbury. I work all the Woodbury home football games. Make of that what you will. But I'm still going to be observant, and I'm still committed to being neutral. Unless told otherwise, unless I get in a meeting at the end of the season and say, you have to root for Woodbury more, I'm going to be neutral. Because this is a service that we provide, and I'm going to say that these guys are not playing that well right now. I mean, Woodbury probably should be up in this game, and they probably should be up by a little more. Here comes Bink. Deep. Is this going to give them the lead? A push-off and a score! Gateway with the lead. Woodbury would have wanted a pass interference call there as Jacob Finger picks up his second touchdown of the day from his second recipient. His first came from Lamar Smith. His second come from the traditional quarterback, DJ Bink. And the Gators lead this one 21-14. How about that? A 28-yard score, and Jacob Finger with his second of the day. They'll attempt two. They, out of their 3 touchdowns, they have not attempted a kick tonight. Bink, ball is out, and there is no 2-point return in high school, so that will be whistled dead. And it's 21-14 Gateway with 2:21 left in quarter number 3. We'll take a quick break. Here's that play, 28-yard touchdown from DJ Bink to Jacob Finger. Take a look real quick. And we'll come back to it. Replay was moving too slow. Line drive on the kick, caught. Returned on the second line, still staying up. And down at the 36 was number 23, Josh Sanyalu. Let's go back to that replay real quick. Try that one more time. So, yeah, this is a good pass here. I mean, just looking at DJ Bink, again, not a traditional quarterback. He's listed on the roster as a wide receiver. And then just look at this. I think the issue here, watch this. We're going to wind this back one more time, and you're just going to see, it's your call whether you want to call pass interference on that. It looked like he went down. It was a close one. Regardless, 21-14. Gateway up by 7 over to Hurd. This will be a huge win for Gateway if they can hang on. They'll have about 14 minutes to do it. But I think we picked a good one today. Here comes the rush. Left side. Flag down. Spinning around 2-3 times. Don't give him vertigo now. He spun around a lot of times that time for Zach Wilson on the self-carry by Jimenez, and an offensive hold will knock back Woodbury. I don't know where they're going to walk this one back. Because, again, there was the hold on Woodbury. Yeah. Again, it just seems like they're taking a long time out here. I don't know if Woodbury football games are always this long, but last year there were a lot of high-scoring games. Woodbury beat Penns Grove. I think it was 37-25, I think, last year. And then last year's game between Willingboro and Woodbury was the second highest scoring game in DWB history with 43-30, 73 combined points. And if you're curious about the highest scoring football game in DWB history, it also involves Willingboro, 57-19 over Delran, back on September the 19th, 2023. Line drive pass to Young. Breaks through a couple tackles that time. He is brought down at the 40 by Lamar Smith. Well, I think if you talk to Andrew Daly after this game, if the clock stopped right now and the world stopped as we know it right now, he would say that probably Gateway has played their best game or one of the best games of their season today. Because Woodbury is a tough opponent. It's a team where in this rivalry, in this battle, in this history, the history does not benefit the Gators. Not in one way. Not since going back to 1985. Because again, Gateway won back-to-back championships of the back-to-back rivalry games in 2018 and 2019. They haven't won since then. Now Jimenez in trouble. Almost picked off. Big hit. Friendly fire. Now pass made to the 42. Believe the pass is complete, but a Gateway player ran into his own man, and now it's going to be Wilson calling over the athletic trainer. There's a Woodbury and a Gateway player both down. Attending to him as well as Kingston Lamano. They got to get everybody kind of separated here. They're both down. There was a big collision. There was a Gateway player that hit another Gateway player, and then a Woodbury player kind of got sandwiched like peanut butter and jelly. And that will be, it looks like he's getting a cramp treatment here. Couldn't tell who either of those players are. But Daly is out there. Gateway's athletic trainer, Chris Metzger. It's, again, kind of an oddity to see one player from each side being attended to right next to each other. We'll tell you right now, that's number 14, Marius Hunter Trujillo, and then it's Eli Young for Woodbury who went down in that debacle. 45 seconds left in the quarter, though. 1st and 10, pass is complete, and they're spotting it at the 42.
From the Gateway 42-yard line.
By the way, Winslow leads, or actually we have a little bit of a different update. Camden leads Winslow 8-7 in the halftime break. First and 10, Jimenez deep in the shotgun. Jimenez drops back. He's got room. Offensive line breaks. Line drive pass. It is complete. Thomas Lewis breaks through. He's at the doorstep of the red zone. Tackle made by Smith. That's going to be a gain of 18. First down, Woodbury. But we have flags on the play. This is going to be the end of the third quarter. So after 3, it is Woodbury 14, Gateway 21. The official gain is 17 yards on that play as we start quarter number 4 here from Woodbury High School. I didn't know Michael Taylor was here. I don't see him around. Maybe he left. I'm not sure, but he was all duped up, D-O-O-P, for Philadelphia Union gear. Right side for Dale Thomas. He's got a rush to the 21. He gets pushed forward, diving forward. Touchdown, Woodbury. Dale Thomas, second touchdown of the game, and he gets it through on the right side On the doorstep of the red zone, he bursts through the red zone. He bursts through the goal line with a forward dive. And it's now 21-20. How about that? This will be I don't know. I'd like to see Woodbury just try for one here instead of being too aggressive, because I'm getting flashbacks to Haddonfield-Woodbury from last year, week 1, where Woodbury missed a 2-point conversion and the final score was Haddonfield 21, Woodbury 20. They will try to go for 2. It'll be a gamble, and if it works, they'll give them a 1-point lead. We've got a flag on the play prior to the play before they even get a snap off. Timeout, Woodbury. They burn their first of the half. We'll take a quick break. 11:49 left in quarter number 4. It's a 1-point game and a 2-point conversion will follow. Woodbury called a timeout, and even after all that, they will still go for 2. Jimenez taking a step back. Oh, that snap is over his head. This is going to be a no-good 2-point conversion. It's recovered by the defense, Kingston Lamano. And we talked about how a 2-point conversion was going to be a major gamble. Well, instead, they end up betting wrong, and that will be a 1-point lead for Gateway in a final stretch that's going to be a 1-point game. Woodbury 20, Gateway 21. We'll stay here, and man, what a break for Gateway. Listen, I can admit, and maybe anybody that you talk to will admit, Woodbury was the favorite in this game. I don't think we went into this game thinking that it was going to be, I think actually, didn't I? I think I said before we even went on the air, I have a feeling this game could be close. And it is. 1-point game, fourth quarter. I'm not right about a lot of things. I am often wrong in the court of public opinion about a lot of things. I like pineapple on pizza. I do. My producer, Ryan, just looked at me and said no. I've put horseradish sauce on my burgers. I've done a lot of crazy things. But one thing that I said that was correct was that Woodbury and Gateway would be a close game today. Can't take that away from me. Woodbury will kick off with Mark Martin. Martin brings it to DJ Bink. He'll return it at the 10, inside the 10. He's going to get some room. Goes head on with Young. And they'll whistle this one dead. He'll be trapped somewhere around the 20 here. First and 10 for the Gators from the 25.
First and 10, Gators.
Pitched back to Lamar Smith on first down. He's trapped. That's going to be a loss of maybe 5 yards that time, depending on where they put this on forward progress.
Number 5 on the carry for Gateway, Lamar Smith, stopped by Eli Young and NJSIAA. Second down coming here for Gateway.
Bink is going to try to pass. Flag comes in. He's got a man downfield. He's at midfield. Jimenez keeps trying to send him down. There's a lot of contact after the whistle. Finger shakes him off, and we'll see what the flag's about. This could be coming back. It is coming back. They were talking about you want to be a bison. I got my answer on the question from earlier in the first half. Bison do not hibernate in the winter. In fact, they are extremely well adapted to survive harsh winters in North America, and their thick, woolly coats, high fat reserves, and ability to use massive heads as snow plows allowed them to easily find food and withstand freezing temperatures. I don't know what I was thinking of that hibernates in the winter, but it makes sense. Although the Woodbury are the Thundering Herd, which is a multitude of bison. Bink runs into his offensive line. He gets a pass off on the right side, spinning on the near sideline, diving forward. Looks like he'll get within 10 yards. Catch made by Jackson Bailey, the junior. So Bailey, after a holding call, made it 2nd and 20. He's now going to make it 3rd and 8 with a gain of 12, and they'll be lined up from the 26. Third and, check that, 9. Still to 26. Whistles prior to snap. False start. It's going to be a drive killer for Gateway. 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. By the way, Winslow did take the lead on Camden. It's 13-8 early in the third. We're back to 3rd and 13. Bink's going to need a lot of yards here to convince Andrew Daly to keep the offense on the field for what would be a 4th and short if they don't convert on this play. Bink, left side. He's got a lot of room. The defense is closing in. He's now going to back up. It's going to be caught. No, incomplete. Jacob Finger almost had it. He had a lot of room, but it's broken up by a combination of Lewis and Thomas. And now Finger is down. He needs a second to get up. They called a very brief official timeout for Finger, but he now has to sit out a play because they stopped it for him. 4th and 13. They're backed up to the 22. And the combination of Woodbury cheerleaders with this choreography. Gateway to punt in a 1-point game. They lead thanks to a botched 2-point conversion. Bink gets it blocked. He ran right into the blocker. This is going to be returned. Woodbury in the lead. Touchdown on the punt return. Eli Young. Punt, block, return. Game, set, match. It's a chess game for Elijah Young. He's got offensive and defensive scores. And the Herd lead this one 26-21. It's their first lead since the first quarter. And Woodbury, in a high-scoring affair, have put themselves ahead with 8 minutes to go in the fourth. Wow. Bink just, I don't know, he rolled out to the right. It's almost like he got glued to that punt blocker that time with Young on the return. It looked like also that Kyrie Brown had something to do with it as well. Martin still on the sidelines, so they'll attempt two. Would make it a 7-point game, back to normal for 28-21. Man in motion. That snap is fumbled again. Ball is still out, and Gateway traps it. Back-to-back two-point conversions unsuccessful. And Gateway is within striking distance. However, they just got a big punch to the gut. DJ Bink, his punt is blocked and returned 20 yards to the house by Elijah Young. 26-21, 8 minutes to play in regulation. We'll be right back. Eight minutes left. Woodbury has taken the lead. It's 26-21. By the way, if you're looking for the last time that this Gateway-Woodbury rivalry had both teams score at least 20 points, you have to go back to 2013 when it was 52-20 in favor of Woodbury. Barbados got the return on his feet, hit a couple of times, batted around, and he is downed inside the 30. Gateway's got to do a lot here. I mean, it's a 5-point game, but their momentum has largely stalled here in the second half. And I say that knowing that if you go back on our Instagram and you look at the halftime score, it was 7-6, 13 points. 13 points. That's the craziest part. You blink and you miss it. It's 26-21, a combined 47 points, 34 of them in the first half. They were at the 30, right around the 30, maybe 29. But a good return by Barbado. Best that they could get. Bink fires a pass, finger, Jimenez interception. Nico Jimenez calls his own number with an interception. The quarterback intercepts the other quarterback. And one play, one interception, and Woodbury's got the ball. What a turnaround for Woodbury. Down by 2 scores in the third quarter. Man, great stuff. Nico Jimenez. He's thrown an interception as a quarterback. He has now received an interception as a defensive back. First and 10. Woodbury's got the ball from their own 40. This one's wrapped up by the Gateway defense. No gain. Forward progress should put them at the 40. Tackle made. Looks like, I believe that was Steedle in on the tackle that time. Also in the mix, number 76, Brennan Tuttle. 7 minutes and 15 seconds to play. Again, for Gateway, the road ahead for them. They play Gloucester Catholic on the road. They only have one home game left for the rest of the season. They had 4 of their first 5 games at home. Ooh, that's a rough snap. And Dale Thomas brought down by Zach Wilson. That'll be 3rd and maybe 12 here from the 38. So again, Gloucester Catholic and then Mastery on the 17th and Pittman on the 24th. The officials for today's game, referee Michael Probasco, umpire Ivan Jones, linesman Eliezer Feliciano, line judge Kevin Williams, field judge Terrence Ware, side judge Nick Wolcott, and then clock operator Ashley Steinberg. Ashley Steinberg's story is amazing, and I got to see her before the game. Fantastic official. That one was almost caught, but it was tipped by the Gateway defense. Steinberg is a 2-time ovarian cancer survivor and is also a basketball referee as well. I always love when Ashley works our games. She's a fantastic individual, and like we said, she's been featured on multiple media outlets in reference to her 2-time ovarian cancer survival. Had a great story on Fox 29 with Joyce Evans, who interviewed her a couple years back. So she's operating the clock today in the other room. Right now in the press box for Woodbury, this would normally be an open setup, and we could go over and talk to whoever we want, but we're kind of walled off in here. It'll be 4th and 12. Mark Martin to punt. Looks like Smith to return. Another chance for Gateway. This one's almost over his head. Somehow saved by Lewis. Bink, 2 hops, goes past him. He's going to let it go, and it's picked up by Woodbury's number 15, that being Emmanuel Dunleavy, the freshman. And Gateway will have the ball with 6 minutes left inside their own 30, as they will attempt, despite their best efforts, not to turn the ball over. And in a 5-point game, just a touchdown would give them the lead.
And I got to give a shout out to the cheerleaders. I know the game was exciting, but what I just saw down here in front of the home business, or the home stand, the cheerleaders are bringing.
6:04 left in quarter number 4.
Athletes on the field right here in front of us. Go cheer. And judging by what I'm seeing from the Woodbury Steelers cheerleaders, the future looks very bright. Indeed.
1st and 10. Gators at their own 27. Bink drops back, right side, rolls out of the pocket. It's caught by Barbado, and he will almost run over the chains. He'll get to the 36, 35. Line to gain is at the 37.
Second down coming from the 32-yard line. Second and 4 again.
Second and 5. Handoff left side. And it'll get wrapped up here. Barbado on the carry again. Again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's your leading rusher, 600 rushing yards on the season. Had 259 versus Haddon Township 3 weeks ago in a 33-14 win. And then for Woodbury, we talked about their road ahead. A loss would bring them to 1-5, but right now they're ahead, so it will bring them to 2-4 on the season. They've got 2 road games versus Willingboro and Pennsgrove on the 10th, Friday, and the 18th. Saturday the 10th, or Saturday the 18th, and then we are back in action for Woodbury in our last game of the regular season on October the 25th versus Shalleck, 11 a.m. kickoff as always. Bink Middle. Third and short. Think he's got it. Line to gain was at the 37. I think he was at least at the 39. First down, Gators.
5 minutes of counting in the game.
This would be a huge upset for Gateway. By the way, Pennsauken still with a shutout over Camden Eastside. 3 minutes left in the third. 21-0 Pennsauken. First and 10 Gators from their own 40. Bink, another handoff to Barbado, keeping the game on the ground, spinning, and he's going to get 9 yards. Going to be just shy of midfield, but this, I mean, I don't know, forward progress could be enough to move the sticks. It's unsure, it's uncertain. They're trying to stretch that as far as they can go. No, it is a Gateway first down, back to back. Gateway's got all this momentum. You'll just have to fix. You'll just have to finish the drive. Lamar Smith getting another 8 yards. Eli Young is down, but he does get back up. That's going to be another gain of 8. How about Gateway? They've got 4 minutes left. They are using all of that time effectively. This drive has been up around the 3 or 4 minute mark already after an interception by Nico Jimenez. And I'm not talking about as a quarterback. He was the defensive back. DJ Bink threw an interception, and then Woodbury had a bad punt. Actually, a punt wasn't that bad, but still, Gateway starting to drive inside their own 30, and now they're in opposing territory. Here is Lamar Smith. He's going to get a first down. Gateway's got 3 in the last 4 plays. Now the whistles finally blow. That was a late holdup. It is enough for a Gateway first down. They're going to be lined up right around the 36. It's a gain of 7. Lamar Smith was on the carry. He got drudged back a little bit. Incredible stuff. First and 10, 37-yard line. Gateway's band plays on in the background, and what is usually, or what has been, a quiet Woodbury Bowl today, with Woodbury shocked at the fact that they are at risk of losing this rivalry game. Hit as he throws. It is picked off. Nico Jimenez could put the dagger on this one. Second interception by the quarterback, Jimenez. He's got a chance to go all the way. This could be a big return for 80 yards. He's got a couple of men downfield. He's got his blockers. He is on his feet, and he finally is brought down at the 7-yard line. A return for 73 yards. And Woodbury takes the sails out of Gateway. They rip up the sails and they take their momentum and throw it in the trash. 5-point lead for Woodbury with 2:15 remaining. What a play, Nico Jimenez. He has thrown an interception and he has now caught 2 of them. One of the funkiest stat lines you'll see in a long time. And Woodbury is ever so closer to winning what has been a very close rivalry game here in the Battle of Route 45. They're going to spot this one at the 7-yard line, as Jimenez was so close to a pick 6. There is a player down, but I'm not sure if they're charging an injury timeout or if that's a standard timeout. Just looks like they're getting everything settled now with Elijah Young and then Orlando Concepcion in there that time. 26-21, Woodbury. Oh, baby. Got a chance to make this one a 2-score game. It's a 5-point game. Any touchdown would make it 11. 12 men on the field. Woodbury's got too many. And it'll be a penalty against the Herd. So I'll knock this one back and then.
That looks like a delay of game against Woodbury.
least I thought that signal was too many men. Or an illegal substitution. Either way, penalty against Woodbury. Woodbury has called a timeout, and so will we. 2:17 left in this one. Gateway, man, what a heartbreaker. It's a 5-point game. .217 left. This will be a heartbreaker for Gateway, but a big break for Woodbury, which, as they're searching for their 7th straight Route 45 rivalry win, Dale Thomas looking for his 3rd touchdown on a 7-yard rush. It looks like it's short, but Gateway has burned a timeout. They used their first of the half. So 2:06. Again, our next broadcast will be Sunday, October the 5th, 9 a.m. South Jersey NABA men's league baseball between the South Jersey Eagles and the Sicklerville Phillies from the Gloucester Township Community Park in Sicklerville. So with both of these teams talk it over, I mean, Andrew Daly, what a heartbreaker for him. DJ Bank now 2 interceptions on the game. Both of them to the same guy who is also Woodbury's quarterback in DJ Bink. .206, 2nd and goal. They were about 4 yards short. Gateway's fans from across the aisle cheering at the bottom of the grandstands. Dale Thomas, right side. He's near the goal line. He is short again. Gateway, timeout number 2. We'll stay here. Trying to see if we can get any updates on Winslow Camden. The score the game that Kevin Minnick is at, it was 13-8 Camden at last check. Sorry, 13-8 Winslow. It is now 19-8 Winslow with 7 minutes left in the 3rd. And, of course, I'm sure some of you are combining this viewing with college football. Unless you're a North Carolina fan. Down 35-3 to Clemson right now in the 2nd quarter. Oof. I wonder how Temple's doing. They're playing at the link right now. They're losing to UTSA. The Roadrunners. Funny enough, just like the RCSJ Roadrunners. They're down 14-3 in the 2nd quarter. I really want Temple to succeed. They got a local guy in Casey Keeler. It's the same thing with Syracuse. You know, they've got a lot of South Jersey talent on that team. They have 13 players on the Syracuse football roster from New Jersey. And, of course, if you're not aware, as well you should be, Fran Brown is from Camden. They got Malachi James, who is a kick returner from Burlington City, another Group 1 team. and he was recorded as having the fastest sprint speed of any player in FBS football. That's crazy. And he's from right in our backyard in Burlington City. Under 2 minutes now. If Gateway turns this ball over, they're going to be crunched for time and crunched for resources. 3rd and goal, Thomas. He might be in. He is in. Touchdown, Woodbury. That could be the dagger in the Battle of Route 45. As Gateway was searching for their first win in this annual rivalry since 2019, Woodbury puts up a score that could make this one out of reach with 1:50, 32-21. Thundering Herd in their 3rd home game of the year.
Score stands 32 for the Herd, 21 for Gateway.
An 11-point lead. They'll try to make it 13 with a 2-point conversion. They've been unsuccessful both times. High snap. Jimenez takes it himself. Barrels in. He's going to be short. No good. 3 in a row have failed for the 2-point conversion for Woodbury. But now it's on. Gateway's got to get themselves back in this game if they want to win it. It's 32-21. We'll take a quick break. Maybe an onside kick coming up for the kickoff here with under 2 minutes. We'll be right back. Woodbury huddling prior to the kickoff. I don't know why I was saying onside kick, to be honest with you, because Woodbury's leading in the game. So I'm all rattled today. I don't know what it is. I apologize. But Woodbury will try to send this one away. Will be a 2-minute drill. This is going to sail over Barbato's head, and we've got a touchback. Don't have that every day. Maybe outside of Zach Burlingame from Kingsway, but Gateway will have 1:50 to put 2 scores up on the board. So if Gateway scores here, then the onside kick would be in order. Little view of the Woodbury Pep Band getting the job done today. Kind of almost feel like I'm encroaching on their work having this top-down camera angle. But 1:50. 1st and 10 from the Gateway 20, as is standard for touchbacks. Pass up the middle complete. Fires it back to the ref after the pass by Barbato. In double coverage that time. Dale Thomas was in it with Mark Martin. Up tempo, 1:30 now. Working through the O-line. He's going to have to reach for the sideline here. He's going to try to take himself out. He does, and he knocks down the pylon in the meantime. That will be a first down, or at least if not, it's very close. Minute 27, clock stopped. They did get 9 yards, not enough. Here's Bink. Deep. Nobody around. Nobody in the same area code as the free safety. Mark Martin was the closest one to it, and maybe Orlando Concepcion.
Third down upcoming here for the Gators. They're without one.
Third and short. They definitely went for the big bucks on second and short. Now they'll have to run it up the middle. Believe they have 1 timeout remaining as they do get a first down on the rush by Lamar Smith. They'll bring it up to the 45. Still Gateway's territory, or they now cross into Woodbury territory. But again, clock resumes. Minute 10 left. They don't have a lot of time. They'll have to score quickly and then get an onside kick. Offensive line holding up really well here. Now Bink will have to scramble. He's on the left sideline. He's going to take himself out at the 35. There's kind of 2 parts to that game in that situation where if you're DJ Bink, not only are you trying to take yourself off the sideline, you're also trying to draw a foul because you're maybe hoping that Woodbury is having a mental lapse and will make a late hit that's a 15-yard penalty or will commit a personal foul after the play. You're hoping that Woodbury will make a mistake, but the assumption is that they won't and that you have to take yourself out of bounds and prepare for anything. Prepare for anything and everything. You've got a minute left, 2 scores to go, and this game is not yet over. Won't be over until the clock hits 0. Here comes a pass, right side, broken up, Mark Martin. Intended for Barbado. And that took 6 seconds off the clock. Now down to 53.4, second and 10, 35-yard line. Gateway within striking distance, but again, still an 11-point game.
Hey, just got a heads up from the concession stand. We're a booming business, but we have some buy one, get one on pretzels. So if you're a little hungry on the way out, stop by the concession stand for a little BOGO action. We'll buy one, get one pretzels. Always good.
Bank deep, no good. Intended for number 8, Devin Foreman. Broken up by Thomas Lewis. He didn't get contact on it, but he was the closest one to him, had a good defensive stop. That takes another 6 off the board. 47 seconds left. They're still at the 35, and now it's 3rd and 10. Do or die time for Bank, who's already had 2 interceptions today.
Third down upcoming here for the Gators.
Bank with another shot. One-handed interception. Elijah Young. 3rd interception that DJ Bink has thrown. And Woodbury fans, a sigh of relief. Elijah Young with a touchdown in the first quarter for 48 yards. Had a punt block return touchdown in the 3rd. And now picks up a defensive interception to put this game out of reach. It's the 3rd interception that Bink has thrown, and to think that Gateway was in the 4th quarter with a 1-point lead, looking like they could get this one in their books. Certainly one of the closer games in the Woodbury-Gateway rivalry, but instead it will be a Woodbury 11-point win, assuming that Jimenez will kneel in an 11-point game, 32-21. Wow. I am shocked. Because, I mean, I'm not shocked for the fact that I said this game would be close. I was right about that. But Woodbury now, looks like Gateway's hanging onto the ball. They're going to say, I'm sorry, that interception didn't count. I am so sorry. The game is not over. They said that interception did not count. Now it's Bing dropping back. In trouble. Hit. Ball comes out. This will do it. He's on his feet. The big fella's got it. Gateway's going to try to chase him down. It's Caleb Curry. He's going all the way back to the 20. They will be able to get him down. What a return by the big man, number 62. Wow. So the interception by Eli Young didn't stand, but now we almost had a thick 6 out of the Woodbury defense. Wow. By the way, the play before, there was pass interference on Woodbury. So that's why the last interception didn't stand. Now, that fumble was good. The recovery was good. And Woodbury will end the game on a long-winded run by their defensive lineman. There will be 21 seconds left. Nico Jimenez patting his offensive lineman on the hats, on the backs. And victory formation for the Herd as they'll send the Gators to their 3rd straight loss after a 3-0 start. And now it'll be the 2nd win of the year for Woodbury, bringing them to 2-4 versus a crucial Willingboro game next week. Jimenez takes a step back. He takes a kneel, and the Woodbury Thundering Herd will win the Battle of Route 45 for the 6th year in a row. They've won every year since 2019, and it was their closest battle yet, making it a 32-21 final here in Woodbury City at the Woodbury Bowl. The clock hits 0, the whistles fly, and the Herd win this one 32-21. Wow. Elijah Young's got to be your player of the game. I mean, this was just a huge team win. These teams don't play in the same division, but what a heartbreaker for Gateway. They were so close for so long. They were up by 1 at the half. They were up by 1 point in the 4th quarter. And then Woodbury comes away with this one and wins it 32-21. A fantastic closing section by Woodbury. They were able to get the job done, and that's exactly what you want out of a good football team. You want somebody who's going to be able to shut things down when it matters most, and you want to be able to be that guy who's going to win when it matters the most. Turning us around back to the booth here, I'm Dan Wilkins. We had a very good game tonight. Elijah Young, I mean, he did it all. He sealed the game. He almost sealed the game with an interception, but, again, it came back for the pass interference. But how about his 48-yard receiving touchdown to start the game? I mean, you could argue Dale Thomas for 2 rushing touchdowns, but Elijah Young was really somebody who played excellent ball on both sides. Defensive stops. He had interceptions, touchdowns, fumble recoveries, punt block returns. I mean, Woodbury's doing backflips in the end zone. Are you kidding me? The one guy couldn't do it. But, I mean, Woodbury, they are such a passionate team. They're just a couple of years removed from the state championship. This has been a down year for them so far. They're 1-4 going into this game, facing off against an over 500 Gateway team that had won their first 3 games of the year. And now Gateway is back down to earth. They're 3-3. They lost to Sterling, which was unbeaten going into that night. They were going up against Clayton, who had a 4-game win streak going into that game last week. So, listen, I mean, that's where this game hurts really for Gateway, is that those 2 opponents that they lost to, they weren't acceptable losses in the eyes of Andrew Daly, but they were the most reasonable losses. They were the ones where it was like, okay, these 2 teams, you know, one of them's undefeated in Sterling. They were 5-0 up until last night before they lost to Collingswood. And then Clayton, they were on a big winning streak. So Gateway came into this game with a lot of confidence. I think that they were thinking with 1-4 Woodbury that they would be able to take them down. And they took advantage of a lot of Woodbury's weaknesses. They had a very strong offensive line. Gateway had a very strong run game as well that Woodbury struggled to stop. But there were a lot of mistakes on both sides. I think I mentioned in the opening shot in our pregame that this game was going to come down to who made the less amount of mistakes. And right now, Woodbury made the, I should say right now, the game's over. Woodbury made the less amount of mistakes. I mean, there were a lot of personal fouls. There were a lot of silly mistakes. There were a lot of false starts, holds, pass interference. Oh my, but there was so much on both sides where this was a pride game for both sides. Woodbury wanted to win their 6th in a row. Gateway wanted to win their first since pre-COVID, and they wanted to win their first in the Andrew Daly era with head coaching here. So, yeah, it's a stinger for Gateway. But, I mean, I think that they'll be fine for the next, 2 weeks. I think that they'll beat Gloucester Catholic. I think that they'll beat Mastery Camden. Pittman's going to be a bit of a toss-up. Yes, Pittman beat them 44-0 last year, but Gateway seems a little bit rejuvenated this year. I mean, again, they put up 21 points here. It was an admirable performance. Aiden Barbado is a great rusher. I liked DJ Bink's passing. It kind of stumbled a little bit in the second half, throwing 2 interceptions. And also the ball handling wasn't really there for either side. Gateway had a couple of fumbles. 2 were recovered by Woodbury. The punt block definitely didn't help Gateway's case. And overall, Gateway did not play a bad game, but Woodbury played the better game, and they won this one by 11 points. So that'll be all for us today here from Woodbury. We've got, again, men's league baseball on Sunday morning from Sicklerville between the South Jersey Eagles and the Sicklerville Phillies from the Gloucester Township Community Park at 9 a.m. on Sunday. From our entire crew, our social media coordinator, Haley Mejia, our graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Carson Ross, and my producer, Ryan Sieber. Shout out to Chase Barnes. He was sitting in shadowing us today. He'll be joining us later on this season. I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, if you can stomach it, from Sicklerville for South Jersey NABA baseball. Have a good one, folks.